Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's broadcast, Voices of Africa. It once was described as Africa's oasis of peace. Today, it is a theater of war. Since 2017, many people in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon took up arms against the central government in Yaoundé to fight to create an independent state called Ambazonia. Anglophones, the truth must be told, are split about the war, even if all along they have complained about being marginalized. There are those who want an outright breakup from the rest of the country. Others want a federated configuration. And there are those who want the current unitary structure, but with the two regions having a greater say in how they are governed. Wars have dire consequences, whether in Europe, in the Middle East, or in Africa. In times of war, there is propaganda, each side spinning the reasons for the fight and what actually is going on in the affected areas. On Voices of Africa this week, we attempt to separate facts from fiction. Let me be clear that we sent an invitation to the Communications Secretariat of Ambazonia for participation, and until now, got no word back. Dr. Simon Munzo accepted to come take our questions. Dr. Munzo holds a PhD in law from Cambridge University in England. He also held several senior level positions at the United Nations, and for many long years. When the name of Cameroon was changed from the Federal Republic of Cameroon to the United Republic of Cameroon and then to the Republic of Cameroon, were any laws violated? This question and more on our broadcast today. Ladies and gentlemen, join me now in welcoming Dr. Simon Munzo on the platform. Dr. Munzo, my first question to you is, you have consistently opposed the war. You call it an illusion. Tell me, what are you opposed to? Independence or the method to achieve it, sir?
Well, you ask me, what am I against? Is it independence or the method? Perhaps I should say that I'm against both. Against independence, not that I wouldn't have preferred in 1959 or 1960 that the Southern Cameroons should have been given the opportunity of acceding to statehood as a standalone independent country. That would have been my preference if I had a voice in 1959, 1960, or 1961. But at that time, I was only 11 years old, 12 years old, depending upon whether you take it from 1960 or 1961. So our territory, British Southern Cameroons, was deprived of the opportunity of acceding to independence standing on its own by the international community. which restricted our people to acceding to independence by joining Nigeria or joining Republic of Cameroon. But once we get past that, what we have is that effective the 1st of October 1961, when the trusteeship agreement between the United Nations and the United Kingdom over the territory of the Southern Cameroons ended, because on that same day, we acceded to independence by joining Republic of Cameroon, further to a choice made by our own people in the plebiscite of 11 February 1961. From that day on, the question of our independence was resolved. Okay? We acceded to independence by joining Republic of Cameroon. So, to come to 2016, 2017, 2018, and start talking again about our independence doesn't make sense. That is why I believe that, if you ask me the question, therefore, whether I would be for independence, I say independence is not on the cards right now. It's not an issue anymore. And let's stop fooling ourselves that it is. It's not. So that's for independence. Now,
Dr. Munzo, why do you think you are right and others wrong? Now, others have argued that when you get into a marriage and the marriage is not working, you should have the right to leave. Why are these people with these arguments wrong?
All right. If we take that analogy of marriage, divine, then you have to distinguish between divorce and, if you like, your status as a spinster. You understand? Before you got married, you were living your own life as, well, take it from the lady's point of view, as a spinster. The young man was living his own life. I don't know what the equivalent of spinster for a man is. Okay? Now, then you got married. And if the marriage doesn't work, if you are arguing that you want to divorce, all right, by all means, file for divorce. But don't act as if a marriage never took place. You understand? And in the course of negotiating the divorce, the parties would agree on what basis the divorce. They might even have people intervening from the family, from friends, and all of that, saying, you guys don't go too far. You don't need to go as far as divorce. You can patch up this marriage, try to make it work. So, using your analogy of marriage, that's where we are. We cannot deny that there was a wedding. We cannot deny that there was a marriage just because the marriage has broken down.
You talk about
it has broken down. It doesn't automatically lead to divorce.
You talk about the plebiscite of 1961. So there are people, those who oppose you, say it was, in their words, quote, and in French, a braquage. You understand what I mean? What a braquage is?
What, like a hold up?
Like a hold up of those who, when they were forced to do it.
No, of course not. Again, that's we're talking about propaganda and myths. Look, what I would have liked to hear what makes them say that. Let's not forget, and I keep reminding us Cameroonians about this if we want to tackle this problem from the point of view of fact and history. What was Cameroon? What was the British Cameroons?
I was going to ask you how we came to being called Republic of Cameroon. Please walk us down that path.
Okay, to get there, my dear brother Divine, we have to acknowledge the fact that Cameroon as a country is a fabrication of colonialism. Period. We had our fondoms. You are from Bali, as far as I know. You have your Bali is an ethnic nation. Mankon is an ethnic nation. You go Bamun is an ethnic nation. if you like, Bakweri is an ethnic nation. Mbo, my own ethnic group, which, by the way, have part of us in Francophone Cameroon and part of us in Anglophone Cameroon. The Mbo, we are an ethnic nation. Now, what happened? 1884, colonialists sit down in Berlin, and they bring a number of these ethnic nations together and say, Germany, here is your share. Okay? And Germany decides to call that its share Cameroon, borrowing, of course, from the Portuguese Camarões. You know the story, okay? But just to give the background, so it is colonialists who created a conglomeration of ethnic nations and gave it the name Cameroon. Now, when Germany took that part as its own, if we had all continued to be colonized by Germany right to the period of decolonization, we wouldn't have any problem between Anglophone Francophone, because there would be no Anglophone Francophone. But again, as you know, Germany loses the First World War. The victorious Allied powers decide to share Germany's possessions among themselves. As you are aware, Tanganyika was taken entirely by Great Britain. Southwest Africa, now called Namibia, was taken from Germany entirely and given to Great Britain and subsequently South Africa, as you know. Rwanda and Burundi, Rwanda, Urundi as they were called, were given to both of them to Belgium. Cameroon could have been given entirely to France or entirely to the United Kingdom or any other of the Allied powers. But again, the colonialists among themselves decided that they would divide the country into two, give one little part to the United Kingdom and the larger part to France. That was not to do with, that was not a decision of Cameroonians. It was not you or me or our forebears. That is where we have all of a sudden the dichotomy Anglophone, Francophone. Now come, and all of that under the auspices of the League of Nations. Okay, so technically we're not a colony of Great Britain, we're not a colony of France. We were a territory that had been taken from Germany, and the League of Nations said, UK, France, administer these territories as a mandate from us. Okay? Fast forward to 1945, again, Germany loses the Second World War, cannot recover its previous territories. The arrangement under the League of Nations is confirmed by the United Nations, and with the difference technically that we are no longer mandated territories, we become trust territories of the United Nations, but still administered by those two powers. Okay, so that's the predicament where we are. Now, when it comes then to decolonization, as Africa in the late 50s, the African elite intelligentsia begin to demand independence. Now, in the case of Cameroon, it is young Cameroonians, the intelligentsia of the time, on both sides, who say, we have a desire to reconstitute our country as it was under the Germans. Okay? That's why you will find that our students in universities, they are Normangoos, the Monikosors, just to take the Anglophone side, were pro the Cameroon idea, bring the two back together. On the other side, you had students who were angling for the same thing. So the Cameroon idea, meaning reconstitute German Cameroon, did not come from the colonialists. It's Cameroonians who wished for it. And if you like, the germs, the seeds of reunification were sown then. And when it came to political activity, the UPC, as the main nationalist party in Francophone Cameroon, its platform was, we want reunification. And it had its echoes in Anglophone Cameroon as well. So again, let's not again, talking about myth, let's not act as if it is someone who imposed the Cameroon idea, as the young people at the time called it, upon our people.
Now, let's fast forward to the plebiscite of 1961.